As I stepped off the bus onto the deserted highway, the fading light of dusk cast long shadows behind the rusting hulks of abandoned cars. The air reeked of gasoline and ozone. Kaito, my guide, stood motionless beside me, his eyes fixed on some point beyond the cracked asphalt. "Welcome to Elysium," he said finally, his voice devoid of inflection. I glanced around at the desolate landscape, feeling a shiver run down my spine. Elysium was supposed to be a model town, a testing ground for new urban planning concepts. But as I looked closer, I saw that something was off. The buildings seemed too uniform, their facades a sterile blend of modern and retro styles. And the people. I had seen only Kaito so far, but he moved with an eerie silence, his footsteps swallowed by the stillness. We walked towards the town center, where a gleaming glass spire rose above the rooftops like a shard of broken light. As we drew closer, I noticed that the streets were empty, except for a few figures watching us from the shadows. They seemed to be waiting, their faces expressionless masks of curiosity. "What's going on here?" I asked Kaito, but he just shook his head and kept walking. We entered the town hall, where a reception committee greeted us with plastic smiles and firm handshakes. "Welcome, visitors," one of them said, her voice dripping with artificial warmth. "Please, make yourselves at home." As we followed her through the sleek corridors, I felt a growing sense of unease. Something was watching me from the corners of my vision, its presence like a faint hum in the air. "Who are these people?" I whispered to Kaito, but he just shrugged and kept his eyes fixed on some point ahead. The receptionist stopped at a door marked Resident Information. She pressed a button, and a panel slid open with a soft whoosh. A holographic display flickered to life, casting an eerie glow over the room. "Please, take a seat," she said, gesturing towards a row of chairs arranged in front of the display. I hesitated for a moment, but Kaito seemed to expect me to comply. I sat down, feeling a strange sense of resignation wash over me as the hologram began to cycle through a sequence of images, happy families, smiling children, bustling streets. And then it changed. The images shifted, becoming distorted and surreal. Buildings warped and twisted, like reflections in rippling water. The people, they disappeared, replaced by abstract shapes that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. I felt my mind reeling as I stared at the display, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. But Kaito just leaned back in his chair, his eyes still fixed on some point ahead, his expression unreadable. And then everything went black.